Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us on this webinar by BHG, the Being Human Group, on how to reset your team for 2022. It's been an incredible year. It's been difficult. It's been challenging. We've got to the end of it, and now it's time to start thinking a little bit about how can we reset, reposition, or reactivate our teams for 2022 after the short break we're going to have over Christmas and a well-deserved break at that. In today's webinar, we're going to share some ideas and some thoughts about how to think about resetting your team for 2022. Your team may be very different going into next year in terms of the team that you perhaps inherited or started with in 2021. And we're going to talk about a positive approach to thinking about resetting the team for 2022. Before we jump off, though, we've had really great interest in this webinar. It's always nice just to check in where people are joining from. So just put in your town and your country in the chat button, and we can celebrate the countries and the places that we're joining from. Please do that now. Okay, there's always somebody from Jeffreys Bay, isn't there? Lagos, very welcome. Cape Town, fantastic. Windhoek, Namibia, East London, Pretoria. Shout out to you guys. Well done. And thank you for joining. It's great to have people from different countries, different perspectives, all interested in the same thing, which is about how do we re-energize, reactivate, and reset our teams. Thanks, Meredith. Right, if you go next slide, please. So what are we going to learn today? We're going to think a little bit about why you need to think about resetting your team for the new year. Things have changed. Work has changed. The pandemic has been with us a long time. The old ways of just simply welcoming people back from holiday and asking them to work another tough or work as hard as they can for another year is not going to benefit them or actually energize them in the way that you think. So we're going to think about why. We're going to start to think about how to lead your team to success in 2022. How will your team get the best of you? So we're going to delve deeply into one aspect of the team development process that we use, and then we're going to think about next steps. So why, how can your team get the best of you? And we'll be sharing a great tool in that space, and then next steps. In terms of it, you're joining the Being Human group today on the webinar. My name is Yendor Felgate. I'm co-director of the business with Meredith. Meredith you'll hear about a little bit later on when we look at the tool, The Best of Us. The BH Group, a Gallup licensed training partner, seeks to empower you, the team leader, positively disrupt your workplace in a way that makes sense, and change the way that you lead by using the science of strengths. A strength-based approach is just a positive psychology approach to working with and developing people. It's based on the notion that if we can identify what you are potentially good at, your talents, and we develop them or turn them into strengths, that is the best opportunity for improved employee engagement, employee performance, or team performance, and then of course critically during the pandemic, well-being. And we look at balancing motivation, performance, and well-being using the science of strengths as recognized by the International Coaches Federation. So why reset? Well, for us, teams are physically getting together for the first time in around 18 months. If you can remember the distant past when the pandemic first hit, we started really the great work experiment called working from home. Over the last 18 months, we've had virtual teams, we've had hybrid teams, we've had some teams come back, some teams not come back, but the general trend seems to be that we're starting to get some form of stabilization around hybrid teamwork. What that means for us is a combination of virtual, working from wherever, whether it's your bedroom, your home, your guest, your tourism guest spot, another country, it doesn't matter. There's some virtual aspect to it. And now teams are slowly starting to get into the groove of going back to the office. And this for us is almost like a special type of onboarding. People are coming back, they're getting to grips with the office, they're getting to grips with hybrid, and more importantly, they're getting to grips with each other that is not a virtual screen. And so for us, resetting is almost like a special onboarding process. And we think that needs a little bit of a different approach than just simply welcome somebody back from leave. We also know that work has changed, and the hybrid model is here to stay. And some teams just look different. Some have gained members, some have restructured, some have changed, and some have lost members, either in that restructuring or even worse, some members have passed away. And it's something about how do we recognize the uniqueness of the circumstance by recognizing the uniqueness of the individuals around the table. And what does that mean for the team leader? Gone are the days when we can simply tell people what to do. People are requiring team leaders to be really in a very different space. How can their needs be met in terms of a customized leadership approach? So how to lead your team to success in 2022. Here are some ideas. Here's some of the processes that we have used just to signpost. We are going to show you the process, and then we're going to delve into one aspect by giving you a practical tool. So we typically, when we think about resetting or onboarding or working with teams, we think about it in 4 phases. The first phase is to think about each individual as a team leader that you lead. And really it requires you to think about them as individuals and really about what are they good at? What can they contribute? What value can they bring? It's what we call my strengths. So when we think about individuals coming back, we need to think a little bit about what are their strengths and how can they contribute? How can we enable them to contribute? Phase 2 is all a little bit about partnerships. How can we connect the strengths of each of the individuals in the team as a team lead in a way that is very positive? Who are naturally drawn to each other, who can connect in the workplace because their work is congruent and easy enough to connect. And then how, as we as a team leader, start that conversation at the beginning of the year around what the team goal or mandate is. We then want to explore the team strengths. In other words, if we look at the entire group together from a team leadership point of view, what is the horsepower or strength capacity of this group? And how we as a team leader can use that and then start to put that into action. How do each one of us then as a team leader help the team take the next step, take action, start to navigate and execute on the plan and objective for 2022. In this webinar session, we're going to focus on you as a team leader and how you can engage with your team around helping them get the best of you. It is only one step in this 4-phase process, but it's a great place to start with you as the team lead. For us, a successful team is a team where individuals are positioned to do what they do best. So this is a customized approach to working with individuals. The old one style fits all consistent leadership approach, I think we can park at the doorstep. I think the world of work has changed so significantly that people want to be recognized as unique individuals, and we are unique. And are positioned to do the best and get the resources and partnerships they need to do their best work. And so this notion is moving away from job description based team leadership to one which starts to think about how can we give the resources, connect individuals in a team as a team leader around partnerships so that the people that we work with can do their best work. Leading a successful team requires you to identify the unique contributions that every person on your team makes, including yourself. You're a unique individual. You have great contribution as a team leader to make. You also have needs or requirements in order for you to be successful. And we'll talk a little bit about that today. To lead a successful team, we also suggest a bit of vulnerability, or what we call authenticity. Be willing to admit to your team that you're not great at everything. We're moving away from a developmental model that says we have to be well-rounded, all things to all people, and the team leader knows best, knows everything. We're taking that a little bit away, and we're saying, listen, as a team leader, you have great contributions to make, but you're not perfect, in the same way as our teams are not perfect, and that's okay. It's about really finding that unique connection and contribution you can make to this team, understanding the team in a way that makes sense. And it's great to acknowledge that. There's a lot in the marketplace around, let's try and create some psychological safety when it comes to team resetting. And part of that is about being open as team leaders. And the tool that we're going to share with you today will enable you to do that in a way that is easy. That doesn't mean that you have awkward situations cropping up, but we'll be able to tell the team that you're leading how to get the best from you, and sometimes what will happen, or what triggers the worst in you. So how will your team get the best of you? I'm going to segue now and hand you over to Meredith, who will introduce herself and take us through the rest in terms of honing deeply into just one aspect of the team resetting process we've shared with you. Meredith?
Good afternoon, everybody. Tanya. I am Yendo's co-pilot on this webinar today. I'm very excited to share with you the tool called The Best of Us in this webinar called, how do we reset our team for 2022? So how will your team get the best of you, the team leader, the manager? When we think about getting the best of us, we use a tool called using the best of us to accomplish our goal. And I'm going to share the live version of that as I am completing this exercise with you live in our session today. So the team goal for today on this template will be reset my team for 2022. When I think about resetting my team, there's really 4 areas that I want to focus on as a team leader. The first area is resetting in how we execute, how we get things done. The second area is resetting how we influence, how we engage with our stakeholders. That could be the leadership of the company, our clients, and our service providers, different stakeholders. How do we influence, or how can we influence them more and better? How do we reset that? The third category is relationships. How can we reset how we build relationships with one another now that we are back in the office, working together again? Recently, I did a session with a team. It was a face-to-face session, and I gave them an exercise to do. And one of the ladies came to me, and she had written down the full exercise and asked me, okay, where do I get the answers? And I said to her, well, you need to go and speak to the people sitting around your table. And I saw the confusion in her eyes, and I realized that during our virtual teams, virtual team sessions, we were talking. Sometimes we were not engaging. So we were talking, we were listening, we were getting instructions from our manager, from other team leads, and we would go and execute. When I think about building relationships, resetting that category, I think about how do we engage with one another? How do we get to know one another better? How do we talk about where we've come from? And more importantly, where we are going to? Resetting how we build relationships. And then the fourth category is all about strategic thinking. How do we think about information and situations where we find ourselves at the moment? How do we reset that? How do we get new ideas for new products, new ideas of working with our stakeholders? So resetting the way that we think about our planning and how we engage with others. The four categories. So as a leader, when I am vulnerable with my team, I want to share with them how they will get the best of me. So my team will get the best of me when I get opportunities to learn, when I get opportunities to grow our department. Okay. When I get opportunities to bring ideas and innovation. Okay. This is where my team will get the best of me. Where will my team get the worst of me? My team will get the worst of me when I, as an example, don't get the opportunity to take time to bring excellence to what I do. In other words, rushing, not getting the opportunity to think through processes. Okay, not enough time to think through processes. All right, that's a couple of examples of where my team will get the worst of me. And I think it's a great idea to write that down and to discuss that with my team members so that they are not surprised when they see the worst of me, number one. And secondly, so that we can make sure that we, as far as possible, avoid these circumstances so that my team can get the best of me.
So, Meredith, we're not saying that things like you get the worst of me if you don't bring me a cup of coffee before 10 o'clock in the morning. This is quite in depth around who you are as a team leader and some of the detail in that space, right?
Exactly, Yenor. Fantastic. Okay. As a team leader, it is important for my team to know where they can count on me. So my team can count on me to, as far as possible, keep my commitments. My team can also count on me to give 100% when it comes to sales and engaging with clients. Let me put that in, engaging with clients. My team can also count on me to show up in difficult conversations. Not avoiding, but engaging difficult situations. That's where my team can count on me. What do I actually need from my team? So from my team, I need from them to have open discussions. Okay? To come up with ideas, to share options that they may see opportunities that they may see that we could engage with. All right, that is what I need from my team. And I mean, this is amazing. This is an amazing opportunity for you as a team lead to engage with your team about how to get not only the best of you, but the best out of their team, out of them. So you can use this example, this template that we have sent to you in the communication. You can download this and you can use this template with your team, have them complete it as a first step for them to start resetting in those 4 areas, those 4 categories. How will we get things done? In other words, how will we execute? How will we influence our stakeholders? How will we build relationships? And how will we think strategically? Yenor, is there anything that you would like to add whilst I stop the share and just go back to our presentation?
No, thanks, Marita. I think that's excellent. Never underestimate what this very simple tool does. It does 2 things, I think, exceptionally well. One, it changes the nature of your conversation as a team lead to your team. It goes from telling them what to do to really engaging with in a deep sense about how you're going to work with them and what you need from them and what they can get from you. And the second part of the changing conversations, it just creates a huge amount of intimacy, because it goes from just task focus to one where we're talking about each other's contribution, and the ability to recognize the value of that contribution is the starting point in making every member of your team, when you reset, feel included, recognized, and valued.
Thank you, Yenor. So to help your team to understand where they can get the best, not only from you, but from each other as well, we suggest that you use the Clifton Strengths assessment and results to discover and develop your team strengths. Clifton Strengths is really what we call the managerial shorthand. It takes the guessing out of where your team members' greatest contribution lies and where they can start contributing tomorrow. Now, we've got some great news for you. As we mentioned, this is just one part of the 4 stages of resetting your team for 2020. We've got a fantastic offer. It's limited, to help you with the discussion and to support you in the discussion with your team to reset them in a 2-hour workshop. So in this 2-hour workshop, we will do the team strengths summary and team grid with your team. We will facilitate a best of us discussion through the template that we've just shown you and taught you how to use. We will also print out and share with you unique personal insights, which includes the role I play. And that's for each person in your team. The role I play, what motivates me, what I need to be successful and engaging, and what are my blind spots. Bonus tools that we will also give to you is the celebration card tool to keep celebrating one another's strengths after a hard year. Let's celebrate one another. The strengths helps and hinders tool. How can my strengths help me? How does it hinder me? And how do I navigate the volume around that? Also the team partnership tool, a great tool to facilitate strengths-based partnerships. And the strengths wheel, which has really been the hero for us in facilitating team workshops for the last couple of months. How do I use my strengths to speak to and to really focus on action items where it comes to my specific role in the team. How will my strengths help me to make the best contribution that I can? This team workshop usually goes for 10,000 Rand, which includes all of these bonus tools. But we have a limited offer for you for 4,500 Rand for teams up to 20 people. Reset your team, a 2-hour workshop with this limited offer. And we want to encourage you. If this is something that you are excited about, then make use of this limited offer. We will send the details through to you in an email. You can expect an email within the next before close of business today, and we will also send it to you tomorrow as a reminder. Limited offer, 4,500 Rand. If you want to contact us, you can do so through our email address, info@bhgroup.africa, or visit our website, bhgroup.africa. Right. That's it from my side.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much, Meredith. Just to mention
Any
that
last words from you?
Yeah, thanks very much, Meredith. Just to mention, this is the end of our formal webinar. You're very much welcome if you have a hard stop on the half hour to barrel out, or you can stay online and you can ask questions or ask for information or anything, or just say hello. But we are going to be available for the next 10 minutes or so just to engage should you have that wish. The recording is going to be finished, so you can ask those tough questions now if you so want. So thanks, guys. It was great that you